You can have a joyful Christmas without spending a ton of money. If you're looking for ways to make memories and build family traditions this Christmas, I've got some ideas and some suggestions for you. But make sure you watch all the way to the end, because I'll share how I pace myself and don't lose my mind pulling all of these ideas off. But first, I just want to say a quick word about why we do all of this. My husband Clay and I have been married for 20 years. We have 6 kids. They range in age from 4 through 18, and Christmas is important to us. It's a time of joy and celebration, but you might be wondering, what are they celebrating? We are celebrating the fact that God came to earth in the person of Jesus Christ to save us from our sin. So we're rejoicing because we have hope in the future and the life to come. So let's get into some of these ideas. Decorating the tree is an obvious tradition for most people. So just look for ways to make this extra special, whether that's having the same music playing every year or drinking something special like apple cider, or we have friends who drink eggnog and ginger ale. Apparently it's good, so you could try that if you need some ideas. Other friends of ours, they always bake cookies and they watch the Grinch while they decorate the tree. Maybe you have special ornaments that you add to your tree every year and then you reminisce over the memories that they bring. We're not special ornament people. Remember that everything I'm sharing, it's just suggestions. You can take these things or leave them. You don't need to do everything. Just do what adds meaning for your family and not what you feel guilty about. We're movie people, so we have a list of Christmas movies that are must watch and then others that we might get to if there's time. But on our list, you'll find Home Alone 1 and 2. The other Home Alone movies do not exist to me. The original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Charlie Brown Christmas, Elf, what else? Jingle All the Way, A Christmas Story. We love all of those. And this year we're also planning to go see The Best Christmas Pageant Ever together in the theater. I love that book. If you haven't read it, it is so good. I first read it when I was a kid, and I read it to my kids now, so I'm really looking forward to the movie. One of the great things about watching movies together year after year is the inside jokes that you can share from quoting memorable parts of the movie, and they come up all year long.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. And I came around and started talking again.
Did anyone order me a plain cheese?
Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I can't put my arms down!
Put that cookie down, now!
It's just a great way to have a family culture through shared jokes like that. Let me know in the comments, what are some of your family's favorite Christmas movies? You can spend some time online looking for cheap or free events happening in your city during the month of December. There are plenty of things that will cost you a ton of money, but there are also a lot of free events to be found if you just do some digging. So since this is our first Christmas here in Edmonton, we're looking for some new activities. And I went online and started searching and found a few things. So some of the things we're looking forward to are the countdown there's a giant Christmas tree at the legislature. So they do a countdown and light up the tree, and they're gonna have free hot chocolate and live music. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And then one of the communities nearby, like one of the neighborhoods, is hosting a little Christmas party with horse-drawn wagon rides. We're planning to go see the CP holiday train as it rolls through the city. And we're gonna go see some Christmas lights on Candy Cane Lane. I think it's about 7 blocks of city streets, and all of the people that live there, they light up their yards and their house and have tons of decorations. They just go all out. So that sounds like a lot of fun too, and it's free. So are there free events where you live that you could check out? Things that you've done year after year, things that you could try for the first time this year. And what is Christmas without some baking? Snickerdoodles, ginger snaps, or ginger cookies if you like them soft, chocolate crinkles, gingerbread, shortbread. I bet a lot of us have Christmas memories formed around butter and sugar, and I love baking. I think this is a low-cost and delicious way to make the season feel special, and we've made a lot of different cookie recipes together over the years, and a handful of them have risen to the top as the must-haves, the favorites. So I like to check in with my husband and my kids and find out what their favorites are. Sometimes those things change, so you can't just assume it's gonna be the same every year. Just check in and make sure that everyone is gonna get the treats they love and you're not making something that no one actually cares about. This year, as like every year, we're making our favorite sour cream cookies. They have cream cheese frosting and then we decorate them with sprinkles. I can leave a link to the recipe down below if you're interested. We're gonna make pepper nuts, which I plan on filming a video for soon, so stay tuned for that. And we're gonna make reindeer munch, which I grew up with this dessert being called puppy chow, and I think that's the worst name ever. I think in the States they call it muddy buddies. I like the name reindeer munch. And then we're also gonna make some Christmas crack, which is my favorite. It is the easiest and most delicious one, in my opinion. One year, all of the girls and ladies in my family got together for a Christmas cookie baking and exchange day, and it was so fun. We all came with our dough already made, and then we just baked everything. And everybody went home with an assortment of cookies, and it was a great way to spend time together, and we consolidated our baking efforts. So that was a lot of fun. A Christmas tradition that I'm learning to like is our very eclectic Christmas music playlist on Spotify. So we often have it playing in the house, and there are some very diverse musical tastes in my family. I'm talking from classical to metal, folk to hip hop, and my husband puts something for everybody on the Christmas playlist. It's in part meant to appeal to everyone, but also it's meant to teach us that it's just not about us and what we like, since there's definitely times we just have to endure music we don't really like, music we don't gravitate toward.
Sing a Christmas carol, sing a Christmas carol.
But sometimes being exposed to music you wouldn't normally listen to actually makes you develop an appreciation for it. You can appreciate the musical talent and ability that it takes someone to produce a genre of music that isn't really your cup of tea. We open most of our gifts on Christmas morning, but our kids always knew they could look forward to receiving one gift on Christmas Eve, and that was new pajamas. It wasn't even a surprise what they were getting for a gift, but they always looked forward to it. And these were not Christmas jammies, but they were pajamas for Christmas. So our thought was, they keep growing, they need pajamas, we might as well make a gift out of something that they need anyway. But now that bigger kids have stopped growing and they have said, I have enough, please do not buy me pajamas for Christmas. So this is my friendly reminder to you to hold your traditions with loose hands. Just because you do something doesn't mean you always have to do it, right? You don't need to hold on to it with a death grip. You don't have to do something forever in order for it to be special. Another thing you could do, just for the cost of gas, you can go for a Christmas lights drive. Do a Google search to find out where the notable Christmas light displays are in your city. Pack everyone in the vehicle with some cookies, maybe some hot chocolate. Just go admire the lights. Just because I don't like giant blow-up decorations, it doesn't mean other people can't. And my kids have loved seeing some of the houses that go all out with their lights and decorations at Christmas time. Since winter is the season for us at Christmas time, it's a great time to get cozy with a good book. Just snuggle up on the couch with some blankets. We have a number of favorites that we read with our kids, from picture books to chapter books. And I made a video last year highlighting some of my favorites, and I included some Advent devotional books in there as well. So if you're interested in that list, you can check the link down below. And another thing about books, they don't have to be expensive. You can request them from your library, and then when you find ones that you'd like to own, because yeah, there's some great ones, but there's some duds, and I don't want to spend money on books that I don't like. But when you find ones that you do like, you can add them to your home library over time, or make that a tradition that you give a book to your kids every year. I don't know, just get creative. One book every year is not gonna stretch your budget too far, hopefully, and then over the years, you will have a collection of Christmas books that your family loves. And you can keep an eye out for them at thrift stores. If you know what you're looking for, you might find them throughout the year. If you've got kids, you've probably got Lego in your house. And we like to challenge our kids to build a Christmas scene out of Lego. So you could make this a competition where your kids are competing with each other to make the best Christmas scene, or If you have a big range of ages, it might be better to just make it a collaborative project that everybody works on together so the little kids aren't crying that the bigger kids made a better one. Ask me how I know. We have also had fun having our kids draw a Christmas picture and then they tell a story to go with it. And while they're telling me the story, I would type it out and then I would print it and we would keep the story alongside the drawing, and they're very, very funny to look back on years later, to just read the stories that your kids have come up with and the pictures that go along with it. You could spread some joy by sending Christmas cards if you don't live in Canada. Our postal workers are on strike right now, but if you live somewhere that mail is actually being delivered right now, sending some Christmas cards is a pretty fun and low-cost activity. Kids love doing this, and who doesn't love receiving personal mail in the middle of all those flyers and HelloFresh postcards? I'm not very crafty. I admit that. I like the idea of crafts. But yeah, I don't do a lot of crafts, but paper snowflakes, that I can do. And they are fun for kids and adults. All you need is paper and scissors. Or you could have your kids create some custom wrapping paper. This is a fun thing we've done with our kids before. Just use some plain brown paper and cover it in paint with some potato stamps. But don't let your kids cut the potatoes. That's your job. You be the grown-up. We just cut simple shapes like stars and Christmas trees, dip them in paint, and then stamp it on the paper, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm very fancy. You're welcome. Christmas morning is a great time to have a special breakfast for everyone to look forward to. We've tried a few different things. What we've settled on is a savory breakfast feast. I make a cheesy hash brown casserole. We have bacon and, not bacon and sausage, bacon or sausage. I make a big oven omelet, and then we make sure to have orange juice as well. Most of these things we don't have at other times of the year, so it's something special. There's something for everyone. Everyone gets a little something that they like, or they like all of it. And I know of others who always make cinnamon buns for Christmas morning. Just think about what your family likes. Find a way to make Christmas morning special for them. This is such a great opportunity to bless the people in your family and to build those memories. In recent years, we've been lighting Advent candles on the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas. We turn off all the lights, we read a devotional for us to reflect on, and then sometimes we'll sing together, we pray together. It's been so good to have a regular rhythm in the season that can be so busy, for us to just slow down and remember what this is all for. What are we doing this for? The purpose of the Advent season is to anticipate the coming of Christ. And I love this quote. It's from an article about Advent, and I will leave a link for it below. But the author says, "What we await is a final Advent yet to come. Just as the ancient Israelites awaited the coming of the Messiah in flesh, we await the coming of the Messiah in glory. In Advent, believers confess that the infant who drew his first ragged breaths between a virgin's knees has yet to speak his final word." I love that. It's so good. Jesus is coming back, and we're anticipating that day with joyful expectation. So, how do I pace myself and stay organized with all of these things to do? First of all, I remind myself we don't have to do any of this. These are all things we get to do. Joy is a much better motivator than guilt. And if you plan to do something and it doesn't happen, that is okay. Also, I don't try to pack every day with a bunch of activities. We have an Advent calendar that's made of 24 tiny little stockings, and inside them, we just put a paper that tells or gives clues about what we're gonna do that day. So before December, I make a list of things that we'll do for Advent that year. And I try to pad my list with a few extra ideas, just in case I don't get to something doesn't work out, or I'm too tired to do something more ambitious. It's really helpful to keep some easy wins in my back pocket, like just giving them some chocolate or having some fun coloring pages to do. I'm talking about things for younger kids at this point. At some point, kids grow out of delighting in the countdown, and that's okay. So every night before Clay and I go to bed, we'll write the stocking activity for the next day. So we'll assess what our schedule is like and what we can actually accomplish in the coming day. If you try to schedule all your ideas into a set in stone plan at the beginning of December, you will inevitably hit some walls where the things you planned, maybe they don't work out, or maybe something comes up, the weather is miserable, you get sick, whatever, life happens. The first year we did our activity advent, I had planned everything ahead of time. And then I made a paper chain with the activities written inside, and every day we would rip off the next day's part of the chain. But there were days that we just couldn't do what I had written because things came up. And I learned the hard way that it's way better to keep your plans loose and firm them up the day before and then decide what you're doing. So whether it's one of the ideas I shared with you in this video or just surprising your kids with a box of Christmas cereal, we love counting down the days to Christmas and making every day just a little more joyful. Sometimes the kids are surprised, sometimes it's something they knew that was coming. That's fine. It doesn't have to be a surprise every day. Sometimes they react with joy, and honestly, sometimes they're grumpy because it's not what they wanted. These are all opportunities for us to teach them and point them to Jesus. I am not advocating for making Christmas magical and perfect and having your kids believe it's all about them. Of course it's not. Christmas is about Jesus, and all of life is an opportunity to give him glory. So go ahead, make some memories, and have some fun. Do it to the glory of God. He's given you this life. He has done wonderful things. So let's rejoice in him as we celebrate Christmas this year. I'd love it if you would share some of your favorite Christmas traditions in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.